Funnie Talk. That's it. That's the theme song. Fuck you.
Hello. Say hello, Yuri.
Hello there, everyone.
This is episode 1 of Funnie Talk, a new podcast where we will discuss every episode of Doug and the Doug movie and Disney's Doug. And if there was a Doug video game, we'll probably cover that too. We'll do a Let's Play or something. I'm your host, Coconut Buyer, and right next to me is
Yuri the Canadian. Yuri the Canadian. That's me. Yuri the Canadian.
Yuri the Canadian. He's Russian. No,
I'm only Russian when I'm in a hurry.
I hate you.
I love that joke.
No, cut. Cancel this podcast. This is the worst. This is a failure.
We've already gotten off to a good start. I would like to say right from the get-go that I've never enjoyed Doug. And I've hardly even watched any Doug.
This is a failure.
But I just wanted the opportunity to do a podcast with you so bad that when I said let's do anything, I'm up for anything.
This guy.
You said you want to do a podcast, eh?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's do the first episode of Doug. And I said, why not? So here we are.
Why not? Here we are. Episode 1 of Doug. Doug catches a neematoad.
Doug bags a neematoad.
Yeah. Okay. Doug bags a neematoad. A neematoad.
Yes.
So, okay, before we get into the episode itself, why don't we give, maybe people listening to this have never heard of Nickelodeon's classic television show, Doug, that later became Disney's classic Disney show, Doug.
Right. I guess you should do that.
Well, it was created by... Shit. You know what? You know what I should have done?
Research?
I should have done research. I should have researched the origin of Doug. I should know I think his name was Jimbo something.
Hello, everyone. This is me from the future. I just wanted to make a correction. The crew. I erroneously call the creator of Doug Jumbo something or Jimbo something. That is not true. The creator's name is Jim Jenkins. I thought I should correct that, considering he's the creator of the show that we're devoting an entire podcast towards, and that looks really bad on us if we were to leave that uncorrected. So there you go. It's Jim Jenkins, not Jim Jenkins. Maybe I should look this up. Jim Jenkins. Pretty sure. Jim Jenkins? It's one of those. One of the ones I said was the correct one, and that one I said in the podcast just now is not correct. Okay. See you.
The creator?
Yeah, because Jimbo Pictures or something at the end.
Well, here's an interesting question.
Something Jimbo.
What do you think inspired Jimbo with Doug?
You see, I actually did a long time ago. I read an article about the creation of Doug from the guy who made it, and he's a lot of it was just based on his life growing up.
So he was
in middle
Doug.
school. Yeah, I guess he was basically Doug. Well, the character, the character design of Doug actually came from a commercial he did back in the 80s. And it was a little sketch line character.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just kind of use it to help promote the product, I guess. I forgot what the product was because,
And
this is a great podcast.
Yeah, someone thought that was a really cool character. And so, Doug, we were all blessed with Doug. That's what Doug is. It's a great show. It was on for 8 seasons, I think. 8, yeah.
I think technically 7.
All right, 7.
There was 4 of Nick's Doug, and there's 7 of the brand spanking new Disney's Doug.
And that is what I watched, the brand spanking. That's the first time I've realized that's what the main difference was. It was the brand spanking new Doug. I like
that, and
it
was shittier.
Well, to me, with no frame of reference, that was Doug to me.
Right.
Late 90s.
I get it. Well, let's not get into that because that's in the future.
It's history.
That's 52 episodes from now.
Oh yes.
We're totally getting there, guys. Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning, where it all started. The pilot episode, I would assume. Doug bags a neematoad.
That's right. Bug, bags, and neematoad.
Yes.
So the plot of this episode, if I remember correctly, is the Funnie family moved to the new town of Bluffington. And when they arrive there, Doug is sent out to get hamburgers for his family. He runs into some characters along the way.
Okay, I just want to stop you there. It's kind of weird that, a family would just hey, youngest child, can you go out and get the whole family food.
They have a
in
car.
In this strange town, we have a car. Maybe the dad could have done this.
No, I think the dad's a serial killer, but that's a different.
Whoa, what? So you think Mr. Funny is a serial killer?
Well, he's definitely got some secrets.
What do you think? What about him?
I don't know if I took the time to really dive into it that much.
We did do notes,
but I didn't take notes on him. I was just rewatching the episode this morning, and I noticed that he's very emotionless. He's a very emotionless person.
Right.
Well, I mean, he's always acting happy, but I don't believe he's happy. And the fact that he sent his son out on this cruel mission. On his bike, Doug's 14 years old. He has to hop on.
No,
he's
11.
12. He's 11.
You're right.
He hops
11.
on a bike
My
and
mistake.
he drives around. He has to get. It's not just like a bag of burgers. He has to get like 5 hamburgers, a salad, a bunch of fries, 4 drinks on his bike.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. Does he have a basket?
Oh,
I think he has a basket.
He maybe has a basket.
Well, to be fair, Pork Chop's helping him.
Pork Chop, that's pretty smart.
You think Doug was like, I really don't think I can carry all this, and he's like, oh boy, why don't you take the dog with you? It's a dog, doesn't have hands, it can't carry anything.
Pork Chop's kind of useless, but
Pork Chop's not useless.
He's got a personality.
He does have personality, if nothing else. He's one of those Snoopy. He's Snoopy.
Yes.
Let's be honest. He's just Snoopy. He doesn't talk. He does his own dog things that people. He does people things.
He was mistaken for the Neematoad later in the episode.
He was. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, do you want to go through the whole episode first?
Well, why don't we'll go through it and then we'll take like road stops.
Okay.
Sure. If anything catches our eye, like just a basic summary.
No, you're right.
Like I wrote Doug's dad is lame under my notes.
Well,
but you think he's a serial killer.
It goes back to he is lame. He's a very bland character, but I could see that there's something. I read into this episode extremely subtextually.
Right.
Okay.
As you should, as a film student, former film student.
Right. As you should with the pilot episode of a Nickelodeon cartoon made in 1991. Of course, read into it.
If you go back and watch Ren and Stimpy, man, the first episode of that, so much subtext, so much going on.
I've never seen that show before.
It's you know what's weird?
I know about it.
Okay, you know what's weird? My when I was growing up, I was allowed to watch The Simpsons when I was like 8, 9 and stuff. I was allowed to watch The Simpsons. My parents didn't care. They bought me Simpsons toys, videotapes. They didn't care.
I know where this is going.
They would not let me watch Ren and Stimpy.
Mm-hmm.
I rented a Ren and Stimpy video from Blockbuster, and my mom went to my dad. Like I watched it. My mom went to my dad, and she's like, "He can't rent that stuff." And I'm like, "It's not even. It's a kids show. It was literally on like probably between Doug and Rugrats. Like it's not like an adult show."
I remember...
But Simpsons was okay.
I didn't have the opportunity to watch that show because I didn't even have basic cable growing up. I just had an old antenna on the countryside. But I remember I was allowed to watch The Simpsons because whenever that was on TV in the early 90s, it was an event.
Yeah.
But
it was huge.
Didn't have the opportunity to watch... What was it called?
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. But... I remember seeing it in other pop culture, the movies here and there, little clips.
It was on The Simpsons sometimes.
That's right, and I think it was even on the Simpsons episode where Marge was trying to shut down the bad cartoons and stuff like that, or maybe something like that. It was like one of those censorship episodes of the Simpsons, and I remember they showed it in that light, and I always just got the.
No, I think you're right.
I just took from that I guess this is even in real life a bad show for just any kid to watch. It looked pretty silly, pretty out there.
Yeah,
but no more silly than.
Is it just very grotesque?
Than SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely cut.
I guess SpongeBob wasn't grotesque like that. But.
SpongeBob is a bit softer, I'd say, in character designs.
Just as silly.
But no, it's definitely cut from the same loincloth. And I think like shows nowadays owe a lot to Ren and Stimpy. Anyways, I'm not talking about Ren and Stimpy. We're talking about Doug.
That's right. So Doug,
which has inspired a bunch of other boring shows.
Hey. Doug is the most boring of all these shows.
Well, if this first I think it gets better. It gets better. There's more. This episode's not very good, but there's a charm to it that later.
Well, that's what they say about every pilot episode. Right?
Yeah,
that's what we learned. You can't judge a show by the pilot because it's all silent.
Because the pilot's gonna blow. Anyways,
but I'll judge the characters.
Did Doug's mom make a joke at some point? Because I wrote a note that said Doug's mom's joke was weird.
I can't remember that.
Okay.
But she didn't really strike me as a funny person. In fact, nothing about her was funny at all. Even her... Nothing was funny.
I did notice they're all like different skin tones.
Yeah, every single character.
No, but the main family, they're all different skin tones. Like Doug is white as white. I think Doug's mom is like a redder white.
Mm-hmm.
I think Doug's dad is like a yellower white, and I think like Judy is like a tanner white.
That is something I chose not to read into subtextual.
Well, I think it's what I don't like to. I think it's weird because what they're doing in terms of coloring all the people different colors, like people are blue, purple, whatever. I think what they're doing is showing like, oh, race is blind in Bluffington.
Well, that's good.
Everybody's a different color, and that's okay. Nobody addresses it. It's not a thing. But the only problem with that is, why is the default character, the star of the show, why is he white? Unmistakably white. That seems a bit like,
He isn't just white. He has the classic like crew cut.
Yeah.
And he wears a green vest.
Doug is the whitest motherfucker in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Doug, he's lame. You said his dad's lame. His dad has a weird personality with like one single emotion. Doug is lame. Doug is so lame.
I feel like Doug is lame to the point where anybody can like throw themselves onto Doug.
Doug himself is not an interesting character.
No.
He calls himself a doofus. He calls himself a doofus.
He's self-loathing.
And
he's boring.
And he has a dog named Pork Chop. He calls himself a doofus. One moment he's like, I'm a doofus. Let's go, Pork Chop. That's not cool.
Let's go, Pork Chop.
And he wears a green vest.
His dog is more interesting. His dog is more interesting than him. That's bad.
Yes.
That's bad. Oh my god, I just realized this is Charlie Brown. This is just a rip-off of Charlie Brown.
Doug is Charlie Brown?
Doug is just Charlie Brown. Snoopy is Pork Chop.
The sister thing is kind of backward.
Everything. I think that's where the comparisons end for the most part. But still, like, Doug is Charlie Brown through and through.
And okay, so he's on his way to get the burgers, and as he's making his way out the door, he runs into good old Mr. Dink. Mr. Dink, my favorite character.
Mr. Dink.
My favorite character. This fucking crazy writer neighbor of the Funnie family.
Hey, Funnie.
Hey, dog. You know, he's a spitter.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that
like if you were talking to him, you'd be just drenched.
Yeah, and I say you get the feeling that you'd be covered in slobber, but you really would be. Like it's a fact. He's a spitter, and everything he does is disgusting.
He's a fucking creep.
A bit of a weirdo. I get the feeling that Mr. Dink is, well, I think there's several suggested allusions to his sex life in this this episode. I don't know if it's like this if it's an ongoing thing,
right.
But the dialogue that he makes and just stuff that he does and his wife's reactions, particularly to me, they say that there's like this sexual frustration going on in that marriage, if I may. For instance, Mr. Dink introduces himself to Doug. Doug wants to know, where's a good burger place? Can you tell me where a good burger place is around? And Mr. Dink's reply and solution to that question is to invite Doug up to his bedroom, up to Mr. Dink's bedroom, to watch a movie in his bedroom about the town of what's it called?
Bluffington.
About the town of Bluffington.
Right.
It's one little minuscule part of that video. It mentions the burger place that Doug eventually goes to.
It just is a bunch of setup for the town.
Yeah,
How can the writer's like, how can we cram that in here?
Sure. It is a lot of good setup and exposition for the whole town and where it is.
Well, it's pretty ham-fisted.
Yeah. So Mr. Dink forces Doug to watch the Welcome to Bluffington video. He plays it on this little TV set. It's this little tiny machine that he says, Mr. Dink calls this little machine a snappy little device, which I think represents his penis. He sets this device down, and then
why would you...
Let me finish.
Okay.
He sets the device down, the snappy little device, and it begins to unfold. It's kind of like in the Transformers when like a car turns into a fucking truck or whatever.
Sure.
Well, this little box unfolds and turns into a big friggin' TV set with all these weird speakers and just really technologically advanced.
Yeah.
And as this TV set starts to unfold and expand, what happens? Mr. Dink's wife walks by, sees this machine unfolding, and
he's also the mayor. Wait, she's not. Never mind.
No, she's not the mayor.
She's the mayor in later on. I think she's the mayor in the Disney's Doug or whatever.
The mayor was in the Welcome to Bluffington video, and he kept on losing his weight.
Yeah, that's why.
So sorry, I digress.
I'm sorry.
But as this TV set's like popping up, Mr. Dink's wife walks by, and in her usual dull, expressionless voice, she says, "Careful, dear, you might actually impress somebody." Which obviously means that his small penis cannot please her at all in any sense. And, I can't remember what his reply is, but it was probably something like, yeah. He just kind of like brushes it off. I believe this is definitely a comment on Mr. Dink's sexual performance. It's also in the subtext of the characters' body language between them during this, like they're very cold to one another. Then after the video ends, Mr. Dink says, "There, that didn't take very long, did it?" His wife walks by and says, "No, dear, it only felt like a lifetime." So he has a small penis. He can't satisfy her. He reaches a climax before she's even
too
close
quickly.
It's all
very. You know what? That's a good case. I believe. At first, I thought you were a bit crazy when you brought that up to me, but I'm like, okay, I get it.
And he's just a weird. He's just a weird character all around. Like at the very, I can't remember like what he was doing when Doug first bumps into him, but I have a feeling he was doing the same thing as the last scene of Mr. Dink in the episode, which is him jumping out of the bushes with a camera, like stalking Doug almost in a way. Doug's like, "Oh, gee, what are you doing, Mr. Dink?"
Like,
"Well, nothing, Doug. Just taking pictures."
I'm just taking pictures through windows.
That's how I feel about Mr. Dink.
Mr. Dink. I love him. So, I guess moving on. He gets all this information. It takes him like 12 hours to get to fucking the burger place. What's it called again? Do you remember the burger place's name?
Oh.
It's like Jiffy Burger?
It was something burger. It was, it doesn't matter. It was a creepy burger place, though. So. Remember the way they order their food there?
Oh, yeah.
That's Skeeter's big.
Like, he goes up to the checkout, the lady at the counter, and he's like, "I don't know what you're saying." And then Skeeter comes up and he's like, "I got this, Funnie. Oh, he wants 2 Jiffy Bees, 3 sippy stews." I forgot what it is. He does like some weird.
It was it was something like 2 moo stoppers. No. It was
2 moo stoppers.
Two mooed cows, a soggy stinker,
stinker.
And it comes like he enters the picture as if he's the coolest guy in town.
Right.
But I think in later episodes, from what I remember from the spanking new Doug, Skeeter was a lame character. I mean, lame within the realm of the reality of that show.
He wasn't as cool.
They're all lame in real life, but in that show, he's...
we meet Skeeter's friends that we never see again.
Yes, what's that about?
He's just like, "Hey, Doug, meet all my friends." So just a bunch of characters just wave. Yeah. It's like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And that's it.
Yeah. And then later... No, that's something funny you could think about, because later on in other episodes, you're right, you never see his friends again, but you see Doug and Skeeter hanging out, and it's always just the two of them, or Patty Mayonnaise.
Was there a big falling out between Skeeter and his other friends?
So there's 2 theories there. Either Doug did some really sinister shit to Skeeter's other friends that Skeeter doesn't know about, and then when Skeeter and Doug became friends, the other friends just fucked off. Or, what was my other idea? Or Skeeter was just lying and they were never his friends to begin with.
Skeeter's also really lame.
Yeah.
And that he just like, "Oh, these are my friends." And then just like, "I'll give you $5 if you wave." He's like, "Oh, hi, Skeeter."
And the server, when Doug first walks in and orders his 3 cheeseburgers and burgers and fries and all that, and the server says, I don't understand what you're saying. And then Skeeter comes in, boom, 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 and like says all this weird, ridiculous stuff. He also probably paid her off to play along.
Right.
And then Doug looks like an idiot every single time he goes into the restaurant after in the entire series, because he's always going up and asking for 2 mooed cows, 2 soggy sausages, and they're looking at him like an idiot because he thinks that Skeeter really did a really horrible thing there.
Skeeter's an asshole.
Yeah. So can we get on to two of the more interesting characters.
Yeah.
Patty Mayonnaise
Patty,
and Roger.
Oh, Patty Mayonnaise.
Patty Mayonnaise. What a horrible, horrible name for any person who's ever lived.
Patty makes me want a mayonnaise, if you know what I mean.
I just don't understand it. She's such an unappealing character. I said interesting. She's interesting to talk about because of how unappealing she is.
What's unappealing about her?
She has the most shrill voice.
What?
And she has a horrible name.
Hey, I kind of like her voice.
Mayonnaise and
hey,
Doug! Come on, Doug! Don't be like that, Doug! Come on, Doug!
No, it's sort of like, hey, Doug, I have a southern accent.
Don't get me wrong, it's not bashing the Southerners.
She's on Orphan is the New Black now.
Really?
No, shit, sorry, I got that wrong. She's on Orange Black now.
Orange Black?
Sorry, Orphan is the New Black. Fuck.
Are you serious?
No, I didn't mean to do that. She's on Orange is the New Black right now.
Yeah.
She plays like I don't know. I haven't watched.
There's a lot of characters on that show, like a huge ensemble.
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Like is Skeeter on it?
Skeeter should be on it.
What about Roger?
Okay, Roger. So while Doug is at the restaurant, he pisses off the local bully named Roger.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Who has gangrene apparently all over his face.
Yeah.
He has some terminal disease.
Is that true, or are you just joking?
Yeah. He has a terminal disease.
The character has a terminal disease.
And that's why he's a fucking asshole, and that's why he's kind of missing like half of his hair.
Is that what they reveal in later in the series?
Okay,
that was good, because his skin tone is
green.
Like pukey green. Roger is at the restaurant, as is everybody. Every single character in the show happens to be in that restaurant when Doug walks in. It's a happening place. It's the burger place.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, so whatever the burger place is.
Like Jiffy Burger?
Doug ends up pissing Roger off because he has a mishap with the ketchup, and the ketchup ends up landing on Roger's shoe. And Roger goes, "Wow, Funnie! Looks like you got ketchup on my new suede shoes."
I love that Roger just dresses like he comes from like a greaser pack. Like he dresses like he's in the 50s.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a total stereotype.
Yeah, like you think he would get bullied because you're dressing like an old person.
No, I think he's probably leads a very sad life.
Yeah,
he goes around to burger places and shows off his new suede shoes and he has puke green skin and
why would you? Yeah, I was like, yeah, Funnie.
So Funnie, there seems to be ketchup on my new suede shoes. What are you gonna do about that? Then Roger, Doug's an idiot and he can't stand up for himself. So So Roger manipulates the situation, and then Roger gets Doug to join him out back. And at the end of the act, it ends with a rather sinister. What?
Yeah, Roger knifes him.
Yeah, I was about to say it ends with this very sinister overtone, like very dark not dark music, but you feel like the tensions are rising, and you don't know what this crazy Doug guy, Roger's about to do. This crazy Doug guy.
What's the worst Doug gonna do? Feed you a sandwich on white toast?
I'll tell you, if Doug had turned out to be a crazy fucking ninja guy at this point, it would have been so great. Like that show would have went in such a great direction.
He would probably just have he would imagine that he was like a ninja guy or something.
That's where we go. Yeah.
Be like, I would punch Roger in the dick and then I'd kiss Patty Mayonnaise on the lips afterwards.
Yeah, thank God they didn't do that.
No, well they probably will later in the season. We'll give it time. So
they go out back. Dougie compliments Roger's dumpsters. Roger really, he's like, "Hey, Roger, nice dumpster." He's a fucking idiot.
There's kind of a truth to that, though. Like, there's a truth into that. He's such a fucking idiot that he would compliment a dumpster.
So Roger really wants Doug to catch a fake animal called the Neematoad. Thus the title of the episode.
Yeah, it's like an urban legend, like the New Jersey Devil. Or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like a big frog that lives in a lake, I guess.
Or like it reminds me of the what was it? The Mexican? No, the southern staring frog of Southern Sri Lanka or something like that from South Park, whatever. So he pretty much sets Doug up, telling him, "You're gonna repay me and my new suede shoes covered in ketchup by being the first person to catch capture this legendary
Neematoad.
This neematoad. And I just thought I had to write down like, what a stupid way to pick on a kid. I don't know if it's stupid on Roger's behalf or more of the writer's behalf in the way that they're carving out this character of Roger.
Yeah.
Doug is stupid for believing that finding a fucking toad will make him the most popular kid in town. That's what Roger tells him. You find this toad, it's going to make you the most popular kid in town.
Yeah.
And that becomes the main dilemma, the main conflict that Doug needs to overcome.
Has to capture this impossible thing.
Yeah, which he believes is real. And it's
but like Roger is like he's a sociopath. So now like Doug has to get up at 6 in the morning just to see this kid embarrass himself. It's like why don't you just throw him in the dumpster?
Even when they're out there waiting at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Walk around in a
puddle. I think Roger says something
like to be a chicken.
When's this stupid kid gonna arrive? And one of Roger's
and I thought it
reminded me of
Roger.
We're out here at 6 o'clock in the morning, like they said it, right?
Yeah, that's the exact voice that he did too. Oh, stupid Roger. Was that the one kid with the one guy that had one giant eye, one little beady eye?
Yeah.
That guy.
I was looking at that. I noticed that all. I don't think any other characters have.
Who's dumb, Roger? We're the ones
around.
Are they all
just
I think they're all beady
I
eyes
think
for the most.
Has hardly comments on this point that his friend makes to him.
Yeah.
Says to me that the writers may not. The writers may have been struggling on how to address this obvious fact, and that they did it so real kind of
like their own plot. They realized their own plot holes.
So they had
so they just have a character address it.
Even if it was,
we know how stupid this is.
Yeah, we got it. Come on, guys, the first episode. Cut us a break. It was actually the first act and the second act written by 2 different people. I saw that in the credits.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess maybe there was a lack of communication, or they spent so much time in the first act developing who these characters were that by the time they got to the second act, they didn't really set it up properly.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense.
Are there just 2 acts in this show?
Yeah.
Did you say that?
Because originally there's supposed to be just like 2 different episodes each episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're both 11 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But this one was an hour episode. Or
well,
for a half hour.
Yeah. But it was the only episode there was a full half hour.
Well, I think there's like a couple more.
So, what did you say the What did you say the significance was of the Kachu?
Kalukaku. Oh well, he had to do that to call the monster.
Is that?
Or the neematoad.
Is that the neematoad mating call?
I think so. Yeah, it is.
Did he say that?
He did say. They did say
okay.
that. They did say that.
That is awesome. I like that.
Yeah, funny. That's what they say right before they fuck.
They're fucking funny. So like an idiot, Doug spends hours spending out in the forest, making the mating call, being a loser, but not as pathetic of a loser as Roger and his friends spending hours.
That's the great irony.
Also spending hours laughing at this.
Right.
Doug realizes eventually that it's all been a gag. It's just a joke. But he turns the table on the bullies when they mistake Doug's mud-covered toad, Pork Chop, as the real Neematoad.
Right.
Even for a cartoon, I can't see how anyone could mistake a dog's, even a small dog like Pork Chop. I don't see how they could mistake him as a or even a muddy dog as small.
How could they mistake a muddy dog
as a toad
for like a giant toad? That's
even
like
a normal
legendary.
toad, even a regular toad.
Roger is like he's both stupid and he's like a sociopath. Like he just wants to fuck with Doug, and that like. He's so invested into this that I think he kind of wanted the Neematoad to be real.
Uh-huh.
So when he saw it, he was like, "Oh shit, it's real!" Like he tricked himself to believing that it was real.
Right.
Because he's such a weirdo. He's messed up.
Yeah. Like and Mr. Dink, they should hang out.
Do you think Roger was abused?
Yes, he was definitely abused.
Yeah.
Either that or his parents are rich. In fact, isn't it that his parents are rich?
No, his parents are rich in the Disney's Doug. He wins the lottery, and then he lives into a big mansion. He starts wearing like a cut-off sleeve shirt.
So you mean he wasn't a bully in the Disney's Doug before?
No, he was
rich?
still a bully. He was still a bully. But he was rich. He was a rich bully.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember what the point of that was. I think in Disney's Doug they just changed everything, just so it can be different from the last from the last incarnation of Doug.
Right. Well, the only reason I say or his parents were rich is because he does remind me of like a spoiled rich kid who can do anything he wants, and either the rough exterior and like the biker vest and the just like he kind of dresses like a rough guy. It's either because he lives in a rough environment, or he buys designer rough clothes.
He buys designer rough clothes.
Like you can buy jeans that have rips in them and shit like that. Like that
the
kind
bully
of
collection.
The bully collection.
Yeah.
So he's one or the other.
If you're a bully, you have to be really into your fashion.
Just judging him by his cover. Either way, he's an asshole.
That's not really his cover. He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
Who's probably going to die of this terminal illness. And so anyways, what happens
I can't
next?
remember what happens. Somehow, wait a minute.
They scare him off, and I think the next day they're at the burger place again.
Yeah, and he runs into Patty Mayonnaise.
Oh, but it was like he slips on the ketchup again, right?
Yeah.
And then the ketchup flies in the air, and it looks like it's going to hit mayonnaise like it hit Roger from before.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." And then Patty's like, "No, Doug, it's okay.
Don't worry about it, Doug. It's all right. Oh, you have a beautiful voice, Patty." No, he doesn't say that, but he probably was thinking it.
I love it. What do you do, Patty Mayonnaise?
Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
No, like the ketchup lands on her Patty.
Yes, and he thought that it hit her shoe or something, just like it landed on Roger.
Right.
And she goes, "Don't worry, Doug. It landed right on my hamburger. You're a lucky shot," or something like that.
Oh yeah. She does say something like that. And he's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And she's like, "My name's Patty Mayonnaise." And he's like, "Patty Mayonnaise."
He's head over heels.
He's head over heels.
Pathetically.
He just thinks he's hot.
This chick's name though, Patty Mayonnaise.
He just thinks she's attractive.
And her shrill sounding voice. It fits the name.
I like your voice.
I assume that this whole thing with Patty Mayonnaise, like her as anything that's ever existed in the universe, her, Patty Mayonnaise. Yeah. I assume that it is a joke amongst the writers, obviously, to make Doug so in love with someone so untraditional and so just not appealing at all.
Well, I think later on.
I mean, she has great qualities.
I think
I'm being really harsh here. She ends up being like she's a really nice girl.
Yeah, she has a character. If I remember correctly, she does have like a developed character, and it's not just like an object of Doug's affections. Although she definitely is that.
Yeah.
But I feel she's more of a trajectory and goals and shit.
Yeah, I was actually going to say it's a really great message for kids. Yeah. That she is so untraditional. Yeah. And not the most obviously appealing.
And she has a stupid name.
Yeah, and yet she's the main love interest.
Right. But of course, I don't know, she's like blonde and like
but that's not
unattractive, I guess.
Talking about how she is normal isn't really a fun thing to talk about in this podcast, so I'm really hamming it up and talking a lot about how much I despise her, which I do.
You fucking hate Patty Mayonnaise.
But she's a nice girl. So at the end of the episode,
okay, pass it on to her.
Roger, thanks. Roger's still out, looking for the Neematoad. Where are you, Neematoad?
The kicker.
But that doesn't matter. I love
Roger,
at the end of the episode, Mr. Dink does prove that he is truly a weird fuck when he jumps out of the bushes, snapping pictures of Doug and his dog, claiming that he too thought Pork Chop was the dog. Sorry, that Pork Chop the dog was the Neematoad. And I don't believe that. I think he just said that because he got caught.
No, I believe that.
He was just taking pictures of Doug.
I get it. Like he would just there was a cover up. It's like, I thought it was a Neematoad. But he just didn't know.
What the hell is wrong with this guy? I don't know.
They should make. I want to see a Mr. Dink spin-off show.
Mr. Dink. Okay,
It's called Dink.
A 13-year-old bully makes up an imaginary creature, and Mr. Dink is on the prowl for it.
No, it's not. No, he didn't make it up. It was in the video. It's a legend. It's legendary in the town.
You're right, though. I think Mr. Dink could carry his own show. I think it would have.
I want to see like a Ray Donovan type show with Mr. Dink.
It would have to be more mature though, because it's a kids. Doug is a kids show, and all kids shows, the main character is a kid.
Yeah.
So if the main character was going to be, if Mr. Dink was going to have his own show, they'd have to like make it a bit raunchy. It would be like a deeper insight to what the fuck's going on in that house.
And there would be like sexual frustrations.
It would be like The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like 14A or PG or whatever.
You know what? They were actually funny you mentioned that. You know the show Hey Arnold?
Yes.
You know the bully Helga?
I know.
She's like
Hey Arnold,
she was
I
like
don't watch it.
I was like the girl who was all like she all like beat up Arnold, but then she was like, "Oh, I'm madly in love with you," and she made like a shrine to Arnold in her room. You don't know this character?
Well, I didn't watch the show.
Okay. Well, they were gonna do like, anyways. My point is,
she was gonna have her own show.
She was there. Not only that, it was gonna be aged up. It was gonna be on MTV, and it'll be like for like teenagers. It was like for teens.
Right.
So like they were gonna do like kind of like an older spin-off show.
Yeah.
For that.
I wonder if anybody's ever done anything like that before. I can't think of any.
Jeez.
Like taken one show and then made a raunchier spin-off.
Oh, Ren and Stimpy.
What was their
Ren
spin-off?
and Stimpy, they had the adult party cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Like 10 years after it was canceled, they brought back the original creator because he was originally fired from Ren and Stimpy in the first season. And they brought him back to make like a raunchy version for adults for Spike TV, which was launching at the time.
That's a cool idea.
But it's a cool idea in theory.
Did they do it?
They did do it. It was terrible. It's like everyone hates them. It's just like unwatchable.
Imagine if there was a raunchier SpongeBob.
Oh, it would just like it just took the charm out of watching Ren and Stimpy because it's like a disgusting show for adults that's also a kid's show.
Yeah.
But now it's just a disgusting show for adults, quote unquote.
Right.
But it just
there's no irony now.
No, just a bunch of like gross, disgusting like nudity, and I think like at one point you see like I think at one point they have gay sex.
Well, that's silly.
I don't know. It was very strange. But what were we talking about?
Well, I guess we're just talking about. Like, yeah, we're wrapping it up. Like Mr. Dink jumps out of the bush, says, "Oh, sorry, Doug. I thought your dog was the neematoad," and he's like, "No, that's not a neematoad, Mr. Dink. That's Pork Chop, my dog." And that's pretty much the end of the episode. Even Doug points out how odd Mr. Dink is at the end of the episode.
I think Doug, like, maybe there's a journal entry in there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Where Doug is like, "Find me dead the next morning. Just let it be known that Mr. Dink probably did it." And it's like, it's a big serial. They make a podcast out of it.
Well, when I first watched the episode, I thought, I wasn't sure if Mr. Dink was really needed at all in the show.
Yeah.
But now, in hindsight, I think he was the most amusing part about it for me. Obviously.
Yeah, kind of. I like Skeeter though.
Now,
Skeeter's good.
Yeah, Skeeter is good.
I don't like Roger being just a psychopath.
Roger, he's a psychopath. He's an asshole. Skeeter, he's strange. He's black.
Right. Apparently.
Apparently. But I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the episode overall?
That's hard. I like all the sound effect. I liked all the stuff at the burger place. I thought that was kind of fun, seeing Doug interact with Skeeter and all his other friends, and him doing ordering the food. I thought was kind of funny.
It's ridiculous, but I mean, good. I can see.
I like the ketchup falling onto Roger's shoe, which I think I actually stole, and I put in an episode of like I Concur or something. Because I was like, oh yeah, I stole that. I just stole it. Because I watched a lot of Doug when I was making I Concur. I don't know if you've seen any of it, Yuri.
I've seen a little bit.
Yeah. I watched a lot of old shows like Doug and like old Nickelodeon shows, which I'm kind of taking off of from. So I guess Doug's an inspiration for me.
Okay. My favorite part was when Doug's family first drives into town, driving by the "Welcome to Bluffington" sign.
Oh yeah.
Which switches from population 19,997 to 20,001. And Doug says, "I guess the one is me." which is, it's great for the character. And it either means, it either means that he's a narcissist, or it was just self-deprecation. I'll leave it to the viewers to decide.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Exactly.
I think those kind of go hand in hand.
Actually, I'm sorry. I have to say I had another favorite part in the episode, which is when, it was the part when the Burger Girl says to Doug, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand anything you're saying. And then Skeeter comes along and does his song and dance and points a finger and says some gibberish and boom. Gets it. Oh, and then at the end of it, after he said, like, yeah, Doug here will have mooed cows and a soggy stinker, Doug says, well, what do I say if I just want a fresh salad from the salad bar? Skeeter turns to the girl, goes, and one fresh salad from the salad bar.
It was a good reversal.
Anyways.
Wait, there was a soggy stinker?
Soggy stinker, that was what it was. I was saying soggy sauce.
That's like, so they like take a dump in your food and like give it to you? That's what I would expect if I ordered a soggy stinker.
What could the soggy stinker be?
I think it's like a burger.
Oh, okay. It's, maybe it has like blue cheese on it or something.
I guess.
A soggy stinker.
What did they call the fries?
I don't know. I actually paused it when they were going over it and went back like 10 times trying to understand everything he's saying.
Decode it. Yeah.
But it's impossible. I don't even understand the words that he's saying half the time.
Soggy stinker.
Yeah. And so, in closing, I would just like to say that Skeeter is definitely a vampire, but that's for another episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
He's a vampire.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's all.
That is all.
That is all I have.
All right. Well, that's our first episode of Funnie Cast. That's what we're calling. Yeah. No, Funnie Talk. That's what we're calling. We call it Funnie Talk. That's the first episode of Funnie Talk, everybody. If you'd like to leave a comment, you can do that below. If you'd like to hear more episodes of Funnie Talk, just write a comment saying that this is a show that you would like to see more of. You can check us out I'm on Twitter. I'm at Coconut Buyer. You can check Yuri out on Twitter at...
I'm not on Twitter.
Oh.
But maybe one day I will be.
Okay. Are you on Tumblr?
Nope.
Are you on Pinterest?
No, I am, however, on Plenty of Fish. So,
Okay. What's your profile? How can you're looking for ladies?
I don't know, man. I haven't
in the area?
I haven't updated that profile since September. But
age. What's your age range? 18 to something?
No, I'd
25
probably 24 to 24.
Yeah,
to
you know
30.
what? Yeah, I agree.
24 to 30 would be
18, whatever. But 18, kind of young.
Well, I've
like they don't understand. They weren't even born when Doug was out.
That's right.
Like,
but were you even born when this episode?
I was like 1. Aired? Well, like they used to re-air it constantly on White TV,
right,
every day. So to me, it was like brand new.
I lived through it all. I lived through everything, and yet I had never seen these first 5 seasons
of Doug. It was 4.
4.
You've never seen these? Really?
All I ever watched was the stuff that was on in the late 90s on ABC. Like, again, I grew up out in the countryside, and all we had was an antenna, so I got like 5 channels.
So
none of them were Nickelodeon.
Yeah, you wouldn't get the yeah. You wouldn't get the White TV then. Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, folks, look me up on Plenty of Fish. I'm on Facebook.
Yeah. Don't look me up on Facebook though. I won't add you.
Yeah, don't look me up on Facebook.
Actually, I have a Facebook. What would you call that? Like a channel?
Like a Facebook. I guess
fan
a page.
I have a Facebook fan page. Facebook fan page. It's called Coconut Buyer. Look it up. Like it. All right.
Adios.
That's it. Goodbye, everybody. And remember, stay funny. That's our outro line. I was gonna go ahead and cut it.
Funnie Talk. That's it. That's the theme song. Fuck you.